Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Welcome to Aspire Teen Talks, Season 1, Episode 11. So, today we are talking about child safety, whether is a mental safety, whether is a related to social safety, whether is related to social media safety. How, as a parent, we can help our child, we can help our teenagers so that they can manage their safety. And for this, I have a very special guest with me. She is a sexual educator and she's working on this particular topic from very long time. So I'm welcoming Yemi. Hi Yemi, welcome to this session.
Hi, Richard. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure here this morning.
So I talked about Yemi, and she's working with the parents. She's working with different schools related to sexuality, related to harassment, and everything. She's also a lawyer. So I just asked Yemi, can you just tell a brief introduction about yourself so that the viewers can know more about yourself?
All right. Thank you, Richard. I'm a sexuality educator and I'm a teens and child therapist. I work with children and their family, and I teach and educate parents and children on what sex education is. Generally, I talk sexuality, and sexuality is beyond sex. An average person, when they hear the word sexuality, what comes to their mind is sex. It's far beyond it. It's about relationship, it's about body anatomy, it's about sexual health, it's about the child's sexual rights.
Okay. Yes. So, a very simple introduction that you gave so that everyone can know about your work. And thanks for the introduction, Yemi. Can you tell me how, if a person, if a parent wants to communicate with the teen or with a child related to sexuality, about the topic sexuality, how they can start the conversation, how they can involve the teen? Because there are some boundaries, parents are not talking about this kind of a topics, so it's related to that they are feeling as a taboo, we don't have to talk much about on that. So how, as a parent, I can easily talk about these topics?
All right, thank you, Richard. For parents to have a proper sexuality education with their children, they must start the conversation in a very open and non-judgmental manner. You have to be open about the conversation. You have to prepare your mind not to be judgmental. Then you need to choose a comfortable situation. Ensure that your child is in a proper mood to listen and to learn, and also ensure that you are also in a good state of mind and you have the needed knowledge for you to have this conversation with your child. So timing is very important in these conversations so that both of you can have a right approach towards the conversation. And one of the easiest way to start out this conversation is for you to use everyday situation. For instance, you have toddlers and you're in the bathroom when they're having their shower. You could start out by telling your toddler that, do you know that your body parts are private? It could be as simple as that. You could be watching a TV program together with your child, and maybe an adult scene pop up where they show a scene where adults are, kissing. You could start a conversation there with your child and ask the child, oh, what do you think about this scene? So your child response takes you to the next level of your conversation. So media is a good conversation starter, and day-to-day activities as well is a good conversation starter for parents to, start this sexuality conversation with their children.
Mm-hmm. So according to you, we should start very earlier, like a little bit information according to their age. We talked about that, so that when the kids will grown up and be as a preteen or in a teenager, we don't have to face that much problem in a conversation related to these kind of a topics.
Exactly, Richard. You start very early, making it age appropriate, And as they
Mm.
advance in age, you take it up based on their age. You have what is called age appropriate sexuality education. So you take it one step at a time as they grow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you work with different childs and you work with parents as well. Can you share me, if a child is having some sort of mental health issues, what are the major sign that you gone through?
Okay, so signs that a child, might need help in terms of sexuality. Number one is that it's possible you notice a drastic change in the child's behavior. For
Mm-hmm.
instance, maybe you have a child who has always been very lively, always joyful, always want to be around people, and suddenly this child becomes withdrawn, either locking
Mm-hmm.
herself up in the room, or he wants to be alone, or this child does not want the presence of a particular person. Whenever a particular person comes into your environment, this child will want to avoid the person, or the child develop what is called a mood swing. This moment she's happy, and the next moment she's sad. Then sometimes it also shows in their sleep. Maybe the child is having a sleep disorder, nightmares, or is having academic challenges, can no longer concentrate properly in school, or the academic performance, dropped. And also,
Mm-hmm.
it's possible that the child is now self-harming his or herself. And sometimes they even become suicidal. I remember as a child when I was struggling with my sexuality, I got to the
Mm-hmm.
point where I became withdrawn. I got to the point where I did not want a particular person around me. I got to a point where I became suicidal, and I actually attempted it. So these are some of the signs for you to be on the lookout for you to know that there is an urgent need for you to attend to your child in terms of sexuality.
Okay, and the we have to make very conscious about what the child is going through. What about the hidden, you can say, gestures, so that we can know कि some sort of changes is happening in our kids' life. Whether it's a gesture, whether it's a way of talking, whether it's a day-to-day life. So what kind of a help we can provide them, what kind of a therapy we can provide them in a very initial level, so that the problem will not be so much more, so that we can go especially for a therapist, or we can do some homework in our home as well, related to a mental health for a child.
Okay, so are you saying that what help can the parents provide to keep the
Yes, yes,
children safe? Is that what you're asking?
yes, yes,
Richard, can you hear me?
yes, yes, I
Okay,
am
so
asking the.
if I get your question clearly, you're saying that what is it that parents can do to, help their children in terms of sexuality? Number one of, is that your question? Oh, good. So one of the things that parent needs to do is that for you to be able to help a child, number one, you have to be available. You have to be approachable. There are a lot of parents that are physically available in their child's life, but they are not connected. There is no emotional connection. So when I'm talking about your being available, I'm talking about your being connected. I'm talking about your being approachable, your being able to feel your child, and your child being able to feel you. That's the number one point. You have to be approachable. You don't have to be a Margaret Thatcher. You don't have to
Mm,
be a mom that once they hear the on, everyone is running to take a shade. So, very importantly, you need to be available. Then, secondly, you need to listen attentively. I did not say listen. I'm being intentional to include the word attentively. Most time we
mm,
tend to listen, but we are not attentive. In
mm,
listening attentively to your child, you drop your phone. Drop whatever you're doing at that moment that that child wants to communicate or have conversation with you. Give the child your 100% attention. So you listen attentively. And in your
mm,
listening attentively to the child, don't be judgmental. Don't blame the child. Don't judge the child. Rather, show some empathy. Show
mm,
concern for the child. Let the child know that you care. Let the child know that you are sorry for whatever is going around or happening to the child at that moment. then you need to also have what I call if be a friend. I know most times it's difficult to balance. Some parents, some school of thoughts will tell you that you cannot be your child's friend, that you are a parent and you have to remain a parent. But I'm here to let you know that the best way you can assess a child is when you are their friend. A child will tell their friend anything. So you need to bring yourself to that level. Come down from your ladder, come down low, come down to their level. Be a friend. In you being their friend, set that boundaries, that authority that God has given to you. Set the boundary, put it in place. When you are a friend, your child will be ready to be vulnerable with you. They won't hide anything from you. They will be willing to come to you. They will know that you are the first person that they can run to for help anytime that they are in a fix or needs an urgent attention. So these are some of the things that you can do for you to help your children. And in doing all of that, then you need to secure them a right counselor that can help them in whatsoever situation that you are going through. And also, one other thing I tell parents, especially if you are, I'm sorry, I'm going this way now. I'm a Christian, so I understand, I know the importance of the place of God. You also need God. Beyond everything that you're doing, you need to be praying for them. Don't forget that there are so many things that are contending with the hearts of these children. There are so many things that are charging at them. So as you're putting in your physical support, your professional support, also remember that the place of God is also very, very essential.
True, true. Yes. So you talked about that a parent should come to a child level to interact. How we can do that? I mean, generally we have a thoughts about, because we have a more experience, we are older than him, so we think about that, like this is the thing, this is he should do or she should do, a child should do. How we can came down to a child level? In, can you tell me in a very basic language so that
Okay, so
everyone can understand?
all right, so to come down to your child's level, number one, set boundaries. Have rules, have regulations, and consequences. So you
Mm-hmm.
already you state them clearly, paste them where your child will see it. So that anytime the child, goes wrong or go against your rules, they know there are consequences for it. You have come down to the child's level. You have made it very plain to the child. Another point is that you need to be a playing parent. No matter how old your child is, play. When you play, create time to play. It's a therapy. It encourages your bonding, your connection with your child. By so doing, the child is not seeing you up there as one super human being that cannot be touched, that cannot be feel, that cannot be reached. Sometimes it could be as crying along with them. There are times they want to cry. Will you mind crying with them? Hug them, love for them. Just know that you feel what they feel and you are always there for them. So don't be the authority that you are in the office. When you get home, drop all the caps, drop all the mask, the side, the salutation, and just come down to your child's level. Be approachable. And that's just the summary of coming down to their level. Make sure you are touchable. Make sure they can feel you. Make sure they're always running warm towards you.
Yes. So once, whenever we are approachable, whenever we are there for them, and if my child is looking for me and I am available, he or she immediately come to me rather than going to other person. If I am not there, then he has to go, or he wants to go to other person to communicate, to share their feelings or share their emotions.
Exactly, Richard. And that can be very, very dangerous.
Mm,
Because most times, what young people do is that the first thing they consult, an average young person, the first thing they consult is Google. They just go to Google, they go to Chrome, they just go there and ask. And don't forget that Google assumed that for you to be on Google, to be asking such question, you're an adult. So it's going to divulge the information that is appropriate for an adult to a child. And most times it could be misleading, or it could be something that the child might not be able to manage or comprehend. And that is why you have to be approachable, you have to be available so that your child can communicate whatever they want to communicate to you. No matter how bad it is, you should be the first person they're going to run to. I'm a vulnerable speaker. So I'm going to share an experience recently. So recently, my son reached out to me. He's in a high institution, and he reached out to me during his exam, and he just called and he sent me a message. Yeah, I saw his message on WhatsApp. I was actually in a program, and he said, "Mom, I'm trying to use the exact word. I've just been caught in the examination word." And when I saw it, I just responded. I said, "Okay, right now I might not be able to talk to you, but be sure that I'm going to get back to you very soon." For a child to cheat in an examination hall and reaching out to you as a parent, it shows that there is a connection. It shows that you have been available. It shows that the child is very sure that you'll be there for him to walk through that part. He didn't actually cheat. He was actually implicated because he saw those cheating and he kept quiet. And they had to, summon all of them together. That should be the level of connection that your child should be able to have with you. No matter how bad the situation is, they must be able to see you as someone that they can run to for support.
And because of some social media, or some parents are facing social media as a danger for our teens as well, because they are showing so many things on the social media, on online platform. How we can protect our teenager from that online danger, online potential dangers?
Okay, to protect teenagers and young children from online danger, number one is that you need to teach them the importance of setting privacy. There's a way you set privacy on your gadgets, especially for parents who has younger children and their children are making use of their gadgets. There are places you go to where you set in such a way that you now download apps that only benefit your child, that will not bring about materials that might not be healthy for those children. So you need to understand those privacy settings. You need to educate your children that are already on gadgets, on technology, with those settings. That is very, very important. Then number two, you need to educate your children to be careful of offending friend requests. Don't accept the request of people that you don't know. Sometimes ago, I took a girl in therapy who met an online stranger who showed love and affection towards her and was always helping her out with her homework. When she has homework that she could not solve in school, she will reach out to him through chats. He will solve it, send the solution to her. And they became very, very close on social media. But remember, she met him as a stranger. Then over time, this stranger made an arrangement with this innocent girl, and they planned in such a way that he met with her in her school physically. So when he got to her school, and the girl saw her, they exchanged pleasantry, and he told her that if she wouldn't mind, that she would like to take her to an eatery so that they can have some refreshments. And the innocent girl went with the man in question to eatery for refreshments. And at the long run, he took advantage of that girl and molested the girl. Do you get it? That was because she could not, manage the danger relationship when it comes to people that you don't know, especially on the internet. She diverged so much. She trusted this person that she does not know, quote unquote, online. So tell your children not to give out so much information, especially to strangers, and they should not accept friend requests of people that they don't know. Then you as a parent should also be involved in their online activities. And for you to do that, like I said, be their friend. If you are not their friend, they will block you off their social media platforms. They will block you so that you don't have access to it. But if you are their friend, then they will make it open to you for you to have access to it. So you need to keep having conversation about online presence with your children. Talk to them about a bully situation. Talk to them about the possible danger on social media. Then another thing is that limit their time on screen, limit their time on gadgets. Have a timetable to control what they do when they are online, how many minutes or how many hours they are going to spend online. And also, like I said, it is important for you to teach them about sexuality, teach them about the danger of pornography, danger of a lot of everything that has to do with sexuality. Teach them consequences. When you do all of this, it will enable them to play safe and remain safe even while they are online.
Mm. So in this problem as well, the important aspect is conversation, communication.
Yeah,
The more you communicate, the more they'll you will able to remove them from the trap.
very correct.
And now the again the some problem are related to a self image. How a parent can help their teen to build the positive self image, the healthy self image, how the teenager can see themselves as a great person or having a confidence or having a high self esteem, how they can do that.
All right. So for parents to build their children's self-image, the number one thing you need to do as a parent is that you must let your child know that they are very, very important. Tell your child every day, you are not a mistake. God was intentional about your creation. He created you for a purpose. So whether you're short, whether you are chubby, whether you're black, whether you're fair, you are very, very dear and important to me. That is a starting point. A child needs to keep hearing that every day. Say it loud and clear to your child. I love you. Tell your child you're beautiful, you are handsome. What you're doing by doing that is building up their what? Their self-esteem. It makes them feel good about themselves. It makes them accept their identity. That is what you're doing by the time you keep on with these positive words, positive affirmation. Affirm your children, praise them, celebrate their strengths. Don't dwell on their weaknesses. Whatever they are good at, celebrate it. What you need to do about their weaknesses is to support them to become better in whatsoever they are struggling with. That is what you need to do. But dwell more on their strengths. When you dwell more on their strengths and celebrate them, you are building up their self-esteem. Even as little as your child getting you a cup of water, please appreciate and celebrate that child. As little as being able to knot their shoelace, celebrate them. They perform well academically, celebrate them. They perform poorly, look closely at that report card. There is a part of that report card that says something about that child. It might not be academics, it could be in sports, it could be in other activity. Celebrate that strength. Close your eye to the weaknesses. It will build up your child's self-esteem. Show empathy. Show them that you care. Show them compassion. Show them that you understand the efforts they are putting in to become better. So dwell more on the positive rather than the negative. By so doing, you're building up their self-esteem. So always remember to celebrate your child achievements and their strength more than dwelling on the negative. By so doing, you are going to, help them build their body image. And I need you to know that a lot of innocent children and young adults, they have their model. And most of these, their model, they are the celebrity out there. So for some of them, they want to be like them, they want to look like them, they want to have their body figure, and they end up going into so many things they are not supposed to go into because they don't believe in their identity, because they don't believe in who they are. So it is onus on you as a parent to make your child comfortable in their skin, to make them comfortable in their look, to make them comfortable in their flesh, in their skin, by celebrating and appreciating who they are. Never you tell your child, see how short you are, see your head is as big as that of this. Don't compare your child, celebrate their strengths.
And is these things also help if a child is bullying, if a child is bullied, we can do the same. These kind of a techniques we can do, we can apply them.
If a child is bullied, yes. If a child is being bullied, it's still part of you being available and approachable and be a listening parent. If your child is being bullied, number one thing you should do is that you must listen to that child. Listen attentively. Give the child the needed attention. Having listened to the child, then you now validate the child's feeling. Maybe, for instance, the child is being bullied to a point where he has a cut or a wound. Let the child feel that you are concerned, concerning the pain or whatever the hurt that the child is going through at that moment. Then you now come up with a plan with you plan with your child that how are we going to handle this? Do we approach the school authority? Do we report to the nearest police station? Do we document the issue? Do we see a counselor? These are the things that you need to do when a child is being bullied. You don't keep quiet. You don't tell the child it's your fault. You don't tell the child you called for it. You don't tell the child you got yourself into that trouble. No. One of the best things you can do for your child as a parent is for you to always stand by your child. So it is very, very important for you to listen and, validate and also make necessary move, either by approaching the school official or whosoever is in charge of where the bully has taken place, and you document whatever that has happened to ensure the safety of your child. So you must always stand up for your child as a parent and as a guardian.
Mm. And again, everything comes under the topic communication. The more you communicate in every problem, whether it's a bullying or whether it's a self-esteem, whether it's a self-image. So if I am a person and I am not talking to my kid very oftenly, and now I want to talk to my kid, how can I start conversation? How can I encourage my kid to talk to me, to open the conversation?
Okay, so if you have not been a talking parent before now, I want to start talking to your children. Okay, so you need to check yourself. That's the first thing. Check yourself and find out, why have I not been talking to my children? The moment you are able to identify your why, then you'll be able to get the solution to your why. Is it because of the workload that you carry? Can you look at your workload? Can you reschedule? Can you create time? Can you try and manage your emotion in such a way that you become approachable, that your children are always looking up to having you around, that your children are always looking up to, having this conversation with you? So it is very, very easy to start, like I said. Find out why you have not started. Is it that you don't have a knowledge of what to say? There are so many resources that you can get online. There are so many webinars like the one we are having right now with Richa that you can leverage on and get the needed knowledge that you need for you to be able to empower and equip your child. So you need all of this. So like I said, it is very, very easy. Find out why you are not doing it and make the necessary adjustments. Be more approachable, be more empathic, be more compassionate, and connect. Just connect. The moment you are able to connect with your child through play, through availability, through being approachable, then you can definitely, and getting needed knowledge, then you can actually have this conversation with your child. And remember, don't be judgmental. And I have a listening here.
Mm-hmm. And Yemi, you earlier talked about the sexuality, that when you are gone through this and you feel very depressed. If a child is growing, like a 8 or 9 years child, and he or she is growing, and now he's thinking more about his sexuality, what kind of a problem that can arise in her mind or in his mind if they don't have a proper knowledge, or they are not having a proper conversation with their parents? What kind of a problem either you can go gone through, or you deal if any child is gone through the confusion, the negative thinking, is these kind of a problems that they are facing or they will face in that duration?
All right, thank you, Richard. For children who are attaining the age of puberty, that is
Mm-hmm.
preteens, yeah, and they don't have a good sexuality education, one of the major challenge they used to have is they are going to be going through curiosity. For instance, they're going to be wondering what is happening to my body. Let me give you a practical example of myself. When I was in primary school, I can't remember whether I was in grade 5 or 6. I had no knowledge of puberty. I have no knowledge of menstruation. That's period. So I was in class on this particular day, and it was break time, and I stood up to get my meal, and I had blood stain all over me. And my classmates began to laugh at me and make jest of me. And they were like, it seems I sat on a nail or something took my bum. I was lost. I didn't know what was happening. I felt so embarrassed until a class teacher beckoned on me, took me to the restroom, cleaned me up, and explained what has happened to me. This is a typical example of what a child who has no knowledge of sexuality most times and often they go through. So they are going to be having issue with they might struggle from anxiety. They are anxious of what is happening to me, what's going to happen to me, what is going on around me. They are going to struggle with self-image. They are going to struggle with self-esteem. They are going to struggle with relationship because they don't understand the place of boundaries. They are going to struggle with unhealthy, sexual behavior because they are naive, because they have no knowledge of it. And that is why it is onus on you as a parent and as a caregiver to empower and equip your children or word.
Hmm. And you talked about in I think in every reel or in every content about child protection. Protect your child from the outside danger. You talked about don't send your kids to a neighbor if you're not trusting. If you have any single doubt, don't send them to a overnight sleep or in these kind of a things. How a parent can do that? Can you share more tips on that, because you are working on that particular domain for a very long time?
All right. Thank you, Richard. Being a child protection officer, I tell parents one of the best things you can do for your children is to provide them with a safe environment. That cannot be overemphasized. Ensure that wherever you put your child, be it in the school system, in a training system, ensure that they have safety in place. So make sure your environment is secure and safe for your child. Number two, you need to understand the signs of abuse, understand the signs of neglect, so that when a child begins to exhibit it, you can easily pick it. But when you don't have a knowledge of the signs, when a child begins to exhibit signs of abuse, you might take it to be behavioral issues. So you need to
Mm,
understand the signs of abuse and neglect. Another thing you need to know is that you must know the process of um, how you report some of these concerns abuse. You must know how to report. You must know the appropriate quarters and the appropriate channels that you need to go through for you to make proper reports. And you also need to understand the legal and social resources that are available to support you in terms of child protection. And we have a lot of resources online, like I said. You have a lot of materials that you can consume, that you can, download. Richard has she has a lot of write up, a lot of blog that she has done on it. There are books. I also have my books. There are so many resources that you can take advantage of for you to have the needed material that you need to empower and equip your child. Safe environment is very, very important for your children, especially when it comes to people that are handling them, your children handler. Do they have safety policy in place that can protect and safeguard your children? Do they have policies around one-on-one supervision? All of these are things that you need to check that are in place for the safety of your child.
so how can you find out the safety related to your neighbors or any known person? How we can measure that?
Okay, so how do you measure safety when it has to do with neighbors? My
Hmm.
take on this, like I always tell people, when it comes to children, you cannot trust anyone. not anyone. Nobody should be trusted with your child. And that is why you need to educate your child. One of the safety you are putting in place is education. Educate your child to a point whereby the moment your child step into a particular place and the child sense insecurity, your child has a code and the child can easily reach out to you and say, Mom, I'm not safe here. I need to get out of this place. Check,
Mm.
ask questions, ask conversation. For instance, you want to put your child in a school, ask them for their child protection policy documents. Do they have it? Their teachers, do they have, do they have documents to certify that they are not pedophiles? Do they have documents to check whether they don't have history of being a molester or an abuser? These are the things that you need to check before you put your child in care of anyone. But the most important thing is that you must educate your child to the point whereby the child sense.
Oh, I think we just lost Yemi. Yes, now she's back. Yes. Hello?
Hello, Richard.
Yes.
Did you get that? Did you get that point?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, yes.
good, good, good.
And a very last question. How you spend your day, Yemi, and what the top, if you want to say any top three tips to parents of a teenager, what can you say that?
Okay, so I spend my day, wake up early in the morning, spend quality time with God. I haven't done that. I'm a lover of music. I tune to music, carry out my early morning chores, sit down, draw out my schedule, and ready for the day's work. So that's how I run my daily activities. And the top three takeaway I would like to give to parents of teenagers in particular. Number one, be approachable. I work with teenagers, and one of their major complaints is that their parents are not approachable, is that their parents don't have a listening ear, is that their parents are not patient. So, number one, please be approachable. Come down
Hmm.
from the ladder, come down to their level. Number two, have a listening ear. Listen to them, even when you perceive them not making sense. Listen to them. Sometimes it's okay to allow them to make their mistakes and learn, because most times we feel that they don't listen. So we want to impose our own on them. Just listen to them attentively. And like I said, in your listening, give them the attention. It's not in the length of it's not in the length of the time you give to them, but the quality of it. When they are having that conversation with you, can you drop your gadgets? Can you stop whatever you're doing at that moment and just listen? Then, number
Hmm.
three, please be patient with our teenagers, be patient with an adolescent. You have to be patient with them for you to be able to work with them. If you are not patient with them, they can frustrate you, they can make you take decisions you are not supposed to take. So please and please be patient, approachable, listen attentively, and be patient with your young people.
Thank you, Yami. And what projects that you are working on? What kind of a projects that you are working on right now?
Okay, so right now I'm working on a training that is focused more on
Mhm.
empowering the parents so that
Okay.
they can equip their children. So that I want to empower the parents more for them to be able to equip their children. So it's what is in the pipeline for me right now. And I'm trying to build a huge network around it so that we can reach a larger percentage of parents. Because the more parents we are able to reach, the more children we are able to protect.
Okay. Thanks, Yami. Thanks for this wonderful advices. You shared so many bulb-on moments that what parents should do more. The major parts that the parents should do, the lesser part is the teenager. We should do more. We should work on ourselves more. We should work on the part of a conversation, communication, so that once we give that kind of a environment, the safe environment for our kids, for our teenagers, then our kids are able to talk to us, share their emotions, share their feelings, share what they are doing right now, what they are thinking right now. So thank you a lot, Yemi. If a person wants to talk to you and share any kind of a problem with you, how can they connect with you?
All right. Thank you, Richard, for having me. Thank you for believing in me, for you to bring me onto your show. I so much appreciate it, and I'm not taking it for granted. And I also celebrate you for all that you do. Thank you for the knowledge. Thank you for the impact that you're doing, to equip our parents so that our children can be more empowered. Okay, so if you want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook as Yemi Dabiri, Instagram Yemi Dabiri, on LinkedIn I'm Ibiyemi Shayo Dabiri, and my email is yemidabiri@yahoo.com. Yemidabiri@yahoo.com. You can reach out to me for therapy if you're having trouble with you have a trouble child, you need a therapist. I'm all yours. I'm all available to give you the needed support.
Yes. And this is Yemi's Instagram handle, and this is Yemi's Facebook handle. If you have, if your kids have, if your teenagers have any sort of a problem, you can connect with her. If you are not able to connect with her, you can connect with me on Facebook or on Instagram, and I forward your query, I forward your questions to Yemi. Again, thanks a lot, Lamyami, for all those wonderful tips that you have given, for all those wonderful things that you shared, so that the parents now understand that how they can communicate with their teenagers, what the problem can be arise related to child safety, related to sexuality. So now I think they'll get some sort of information, and after watching your videos, your content, they'll get, they'll are able to know more about the child safety. So thank you once again, Yemi, for coming on my show.
Thank you so much, Richard, for having me, and do enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah. Bye. Take care. Thank you,
Bye. Thank
everyone.
you.
And this is the end of the show. Take care. Bye bye.